key to rendering a realistic face is sharp observation skills. It's the ability to see like an artist. That involves examining facial proportions down to minute details, translating those proportions to a blocking of the face, understanding the elements of lighting, and rendering accurate values. Values are how light or dark a tone is. The experienced artist eye has been trained to do all of this instinctively. But did you know there are some guidelines that nearly every face follows that simplify this whole process of drawing a face? I'll teach you those, as well as some basic cranial anatomy to help you understand the structure that's beneath the face. And I'll show you how lighting and head position change the appearance of the features and planes of the face. And then a final sketch of the face will show you how to observe and shade the face to achieve a realistic three-dimensionality. It can really help you analyze a face despite the enormous variety you see if you understand the basic guidelines that structure most faces. They're just to help you get a more accurate likeness, but observe each individual face and feature for the slight variations that make each face unique. Because the face is symmetrical, you can imagine a plumb line right down the center. The eyes, specifically the tear ducts, are halfway between the chin and the top of the skull, not the top of the hair, but where you would imagine the skull to be. If you run an imaginary plumb line across the face at the beginning of the eyebrows, the halfway point between that and the chin is the bottom of the nostrils. Conveniently, the ears fall between those lines, the top of the ears and the bottom of the ears. And halfway between the bottom of the nostrils and the chin is the bottom of the lip. I'm going to just sort of block in a face according to these guidelines. This is the halfway line between the top of the skull. So I'm going to put the hair maybe out here. This is going to be the chin. And I've sort of estimated where the side of the skull is going to be. It's going to be right about here. So the hair may be out as far as here, it just depends. The ears are going to line up with the eyebrows. I'm just sort of estimating where the start of the eyebrows will go. And the reason I say the start of the eyebrows is because some eyebrows are arched. So if you would use that line, then that's going to mess up your guidelines. So it is the start of the eyebrows. I'm putting the tear duct here. This is just a very loose block in. Before you start shading, it's extremely important to determine the direction of the light source. If there's one strong directional light and not multiple light sources, you will see these nice elements of lighting. The highlight will be your lightest light. That is the area that is receiving the direct hit from the light source. The rest of this are the midtones. You see a light midtone, a dark midtone. You see it's gradually shaded darker and darker. The core shadow is this crescent of darkness here. That is the area receiving the least amount of light from the light source. You've got a cast shadow. This area here where the sphere or ball sits on the surface is going to be your darkest dark. And then depending on the strength and closeness, or if it's very close, the light source is very close, you'll see a defined shadow. If it's far away, these edges will blur just a little bit as the ambient lighting from the room invades these shadows. Now let's shade some planes of the head to give this face some three-dimensionality. For this diagram on the left, I'm going to shade it as though the light source was coming from the front and above. This one on the right, I'm going to shade it as though the light source was coming from the upper right, and all this area here will be in shade. I'm just going to hatch in a few of these marks. If the light source is coming from above, you'll see these eyes in shadow, especially if they've got a strong brow bone, heavy eyebrows like a lot of men have. This plane of the face will be receiving less light. The same thing on this side. And I think pretty much most of the ear, maybe not the earlobe. The iris takes an almost elliptical view. It's not a complete circle. It's like a flattened circle. So you can see this shape here, like I just described. A lot of eyes, the outside corner would be just a little bit higher than the inside corner, not always. And the eye is a spherical shape, so you want to show that shadow here. Shade it like a ball. This area would be darker. Upper eyelid fold might be this shape and direction. You'll see the rim of the eye oftentimes on the outer part of the eye. And then it just sort of fades into this line here. So try to describe this eye in terms of values rather than harsh lines. The secondary light source here is casting a shadow from her nostrils. I'm just going to block in some basic values. A tissue will lighten some areas, a tortillon will darken some areas. Her eye sockets are showing the rounded shape that they are. This is just a little tiny coarse shadow here because the light from this side is highlighting this side, the light source from this side is highlighting this side.